Scenarios, visioning, and indicators of urban heat island. Where is Phoenix headed? Where does Phoenix want to go? And how will we track urban heat islands? Predicting the future is never easy. We used a multiple scenario approach to examine how different rates of adoption of new policies would affect Phoenix urban heat island. The worst case scenario was known as the business as usual approach. This means that nothing would change, no new policies would be adopted. As we can see here on the right, the number of deaths in Maricopa County correlate with the maximum temperatures. So the current trend has temperatures continuing to rise without mitigation, which would lead to more mortalities in the future. Late adoption of new policies is another less than ideal approach. When the problem is left untreated, there will be positive feedback loops that exacerbate the issue. For example, as the city gets hotter, residents will be more inclined to use their cooling systems, which in turn will cause more hot air from the exhaust, overall creating more heat. By the time the city gets around to adopting new policies and trying to effect change, the problem will have grown greater in magnitude. Early adoption of new policies and mitigation strategies is the best scenario. The sooner that stakeholders can begin to act, the quicker that mitigation will begin to occur. Even beginning with small-scale adaptations such as riding bicycles more or using the light rail instead of driving, will begin to create the process for a new paradigm shift. The trick will be engaging all the stakeholders and finding quick compromises to the issues that they each hold. Visions describe the future that we want for Phoenix. By engaging the stakeholders to commit to long-term sustainable policies, we can create the best-case scenario for Phoenix. Looking realistically at the best possible solutions, we can imagine a Phoenix with less cars polluting the road. Thanks to Governor Ducey, Arizona is a state that allows for the testing of automated vehicles. In a future scenario, we can imagine a city where self-driving cars are shared by all the residents, reducing the amount of vehicles and emissions on the road. The roads that these cars will drive on will be a reflective and more permeable type of asphalt, allowing for less solar radiation to be absorbed and for less stormwater issues such as collection of pollutants. Businesses will also have mandatory green spaces on the rooftops to stop the buildings from absorbing and retaining solar radiation. The trees will also help to clean the air of toxins and return moisture back into the air via evapotranspiration. Ultimately, the best Phoenix is one with less emissions, more solar reflection, and more green spaces. Indicators let us measure sustainability by assessing which way the urban heat island issue is headed. We can look at the environmental indicators, such as the ambient temperature in Phoenix at night, and see if the problem is diminishing, stagnant, or increasing. We can assess how stakeholders are adapting to the problem by looking at new development and zoning practices to see if they're taking into account the urban heat island issues, such as adding more green spaces to each new development. Economically, the amount of money and resources that are being invested in the mitigation strategies will also indicate how much progress Phoenix is making toward future scenario goals. Indicators will help Phoenix plan for its future and assess its transition to a new sustainable state. Thanks.